All right. So, first of all, I'd like to say sorry. The second part of the predictions that I made for East versus West 17, they came out pretty late. I am brand new to YouTube, so I don't really know how the upload stuff works. I have zero idea on how to edit videos, so, I mean, that's on me. Apologies for that. And of course, barely any views, don't really care. That's fine. Kind of for me or for other people. I don't know. So now, what I want to do is make a post-event recap and just kind of review for East versus West 17 and how it went. First of all, I want to say, if anyone from East versus West is watching or anything, guys, we need to figure out the audio issues. We have to. It's essential at this point because we've been having audio issues since East versus West 1. It's always been stuff with the microphones. It's been stuff with the announcement audio, the commentation. Everything is just kind of all over the place sometimes. This was definitely one of those events. And it's kind of upsetting to see, just because I want East versus West to succeed. I want Engen and Dexter and Robert Baxter to all do well and continue to push things out so that it can get mainstream. But I don't know how it goes, but I'd assume there's not that much difficult with managing microphones. I'm just being overly critical here because I love the sport and I want to see it go mainstream. But it's not going to go mainstream if they're not going to be able to manage their audio. Like, you had Matt Mask and Devin Larratt on the same card. Both of those Canadian guys, they love to talk. And there was no match audio. Devin's over here talking with Corey. Corey is shouting back at him, and you can't hear what they're saying. Matt, every time he finishes, he always has something to say, and it's always the most entertaining part of his matches. No audio. So you can't hear anything that they're saying. It's upsetting, it's frustrating, because I want East versus West to do well. I do. But that's very difficult when they can't figure out the audio. I hope they figure it out, because once they do, they have everything else that they need to go mainstream with this sport. So, that being said, I'm going to go back over some of my predictions and compare them to how everything went. Spoiler alert, I did not predict well. At everything that happened, almost the opposite of my predictions. Almost. So, first match was Sharkovic and Arsen. Still can't pronounce his last name. I had Sharkovic winning this one easy. I mean, Shark looks really strong, but Arsen comes up and flash pins him, has a dominant victory. And I guess that makes sense because I couldn't do too much research on Arsen, so that makes sense. It was a good match. That was a good match. Next one was one of the highlights of the event, which I was not expecting. Joseph Moranto and Cody Wood. Really good match. Very good. I had Cody winning 3-0, as did a lot of people in the community of trying to predict these things. Moranto came out on top, 3-2. It was a really good match. Apparently afterwards, Moranto was talking in the interview, and he said he missed the go for the first 2 rounds. I get that. The East versus West starts are very difficult, especially for somebody who might be used to more American style, which is what Moranto's probably used to, where it is a really, it's a fixed setup. They like to make sure both athletes are ready before they go. Where East versus West, it's ready, go. Just immediately, you're off. So I can understand if he missed those, but once he found it in the third round, oh my gosh, unmovable. He just set his hook, and he was going nowhere. Nowhere. Cody, every time he would try to back pressure and pull out of that hook, Moranto wouldn't move an inch. He just sat there, and he did incredibly well. Super, super good. Really proud of Moranto, and he is really already, even in this 2 matches, one against Palco, one against Cody now, he's making his mark, and I love it for him. Next match, Hunter Knopfs versus Valen Lowe. Hunter won as I expected, but I was kind of, like, as Valen got the stop, either it was round 1 or 2, and Hunter couldn't flash pin him and brought himself back to center and elbow fouled off the front of the pad to get the restart. Like, for anyone else, I would be critical of that and be like, just pull in the match. That's what you're here for. You're not here to get things absolutely picture perfect, so you need the restart after you stop. Like, but this is Hunter. He flash pins, and if he can't flash pin, he's not going to do too good the rest of the match. But he stuck through it. Valen never got a pin, but still got 2 points because Hunter was lost at how to keep his elbow on the pad and how to pull Valen. Valen was just very sticky. He was very, very sticky with his back pressure and pronation. Contained Hunter very well. Hunter had a lot of trouble, but at the end of the day, he pulled through. Congrats to him. He pulled through very, very well. Next match would be Craig Tullier and John Theron. I had Theron winning this one. Could not have been more wrong. Craig reminded me a lot of Todd Hutchings. And the thing is, the reason why in this sport the older athletes are becoming so much more dominant, I think it's because when they pull, they're so much tighter. Like, the older you get, everyone knows this, the older you get, the tighter you get, the more you lose your mobility and your range of motion. So that's why guys like Craig Tullier, Todd Hutchings, Devin Larratt, like all of these guys who are older are so tight that they're stronger than when they were in, like, the physical prime of their lives. Like, very, very interesting. But John could do nothing with Craig. Once Craig set his position and was moving towards the pad, it was impossible to stop him. So, very good match, though. Very good match. Next one, was the next one Mindaugas versus Giannis? I'll just do that one next. This was a great, great match, a highlight for a lot of people. It kind of went the way I predicted, although I don't know why I predicted a 3-0 victory for Mindaugas. That was stupid of me. It should have been 3-2 because I knew this was going to be a war, and it was. At the end of the day, this match wasn't about who came with the better technique, who came stronger, who came better. At the end of the day, these guys were neck and neck, and they were so close, it came down to endurance. Not cardiovascular endurance, arm endurance. And even though Giannis was doing good cardiovascular, he was breathing good, he was okay, what ended up happening is his arm in this position opened up. Just kept opening up way too easy. So that's what happens sometimes when you're stuck in a war like that. His arm just started opening up. I didn't know if it would be possible in the earlier rounds for Mindaugas to defeat Giannis's post, because his post is super strong. But ultimately, great match. Congrats to Mindaugas. I know that this match didn't come after this match, but I'm just going to go straight to Hunter versus Mindaugas. Did not go the way I thought. I don't know why I was so confident that Hunter would win. I guess I just don't know enough about Hunter, but yeah, Mindaugas taught a masterclass. He destroyed Hunter, left Hunter no room to breathe, no room to recover. It was great. It was a good way to show, hey Hunter, keep your ego in check, because there are a lot bigger fish in the ocean right now, and you're pretty small where you're at. But Hunter still never ceases to amaze. He is still an incredibly strong athlete. We love Hunter. Next match would be Cody Merritt versus Evgeny Prudnik. Good match. Evgeny showed up a super heavyweight. He wasn't a heavyweight. He wasn't lighter. He showed up big, bulky, and strong. And I'm glad I switched my perspective from Cody winning to Prudnik winning, because that is how it went. Prudnik stayed pretty dominant. Cody took advantage of a couple holes that Prudnik had in his style, but at the end of the day, his hand control, his strength, and his just ability to pull well in that sort of setting ended up being really good for him. I'm just holding my phone because there's a lot of bumps, and I know from the last videos the audio would be really crunchy anytime I'd hit a bump while I'm driving. But that was a good match. Next up would be Jocelyn Bryson versus Sarah Backman. This was a good match. This was a very good match, because Jocelyn is now really making her mark. She's really strong. I said in my predictions I can't bet against Sarah. I stand by that. Sarah's amazing, and she really found her position in the third round. But before that, she could do nothing. And it was really impressive. Really impressive to see. Oh, I just realized I can pause the video. That's good to know. I'm learning things. Hey, I'm learning things. Okay, so, here, let me park real quick. Okay, so now I'm going to go over the rest of the matches, and next match would be, although I guess I need to talk a bit more about Sarah Jocelyn. This was a really good match. I had Sarah winning just because I can't bet against Sarah. She's really good. But when Sarah found her position in that third round, Jocelyn was just opening herself up against that, but once it stuck, and Sarah could do nothing against Jocelyn's power. And that's just how it went. Jocelyn might be top 5. I don't know too much about the women's division for super heavyweight, but all I know is Jocelyn is coming for the top. She called out Igla for her next match. I think that would be good. Igla is amazing. She is one of those really special athletes on the women's side of things. Like, she is incredible. Next match, I'm going to go to Matt Mask versus Ketergely Ungarbayev. This was my favorite match. We need to rethink our perspective of Matt Mask, because he showed up and a lot of people thought he would win. A lot of people thought he might lose, because Ketergely is such a master of the sport. It happened exactly like I predicted. Matt won 3-0. And he did it really dominantly. Left Ketergely no room to breathe. I, even predicting this match, thought it might be flash pins, but I knew deep down that would be incredibly hard for Matt to accomplish. He went straight through Ketergely. Ketergely had no answer. Nothing. Not a single moment of stoppage or retaliation. He just lost 3-0. And afterwards, Matt seemed really fired up. Again, why was there no audio? It's upsetting, because I would have loved to hear it. That's my favorite part. It's just Matt shouting to the crowd. It's just awesome. But hey, what are you going to do? They're figuring their stuff out. As long as East versus West can learn and try to fix that audio, everything else is there. I've said it before, I'll say it again. They have everything they need to go mainstream. The fans are building across the world. They've got incredible visuals now. That arena was amazing. Very cool. Loved it. You're gaining support from all corners of both combat sports and strength sports. With Brian Shaw coming in and attending East versus West 17, you get a lot more people coming and viewing arm wrestling, and that is amazing. I think that King of the Table 14 is going to be the next one, which it's been a while since we've had a King of the Table competition, but hopefully the event in May, which is going to be Michael Todd versus Vitali, Rustam Babayev versus Todd Hutchings. This looks like a good event because we've also got Ibrahim Sagov, Georgi Zarenov. He is a crazy strong athlete, Georgi. But we just haven't been seeing him. And that's a bit upsetting because Georgi Zarenov is just so strong. The dominance he showed against Ravaz was unheard of. Incredible athlete. We got to see more of him. We got to see more of Ravaz. I don't know where he's at, if he's injured, what's going on. But Ravaz is still probably top 15. I know I'm kind of going off from East versus West 17, but yeah, I've thought about it. Top 15 for super heavyweight. You got your top 10 listed. I wouldn't switch anyone in that top 10 category of East versus West rankings for anyone in the top 15, the extra 5. But those extra 5 athletes would probably be Kamil Jablonski, Ravaz Lutitsi, Georgi Zarenov, Sergey Kalinichenko, and maybe Tobias Sparong, someone else. I'm not too sure, but that's about where the other 5 are for the top 15. All of these guys really need to be given a chance. And who else was there announced that might be in the next competition? I don't know. But anyway, Matt also called out Nugzari Chikadze as his next opponent. He said he would love to pull with him because that guy is a powerhouse. And just like how I had my doubts with Matt fighting Keter Gelly, I have my doubts if he could beat Nugo. Nugo is so strong and powerful, but I think if Matt trains properly and prepares and he comes in the same form we saw him on Saturday, he's got a crazy good shot at beating Nugo. But what I want more than anything, for him to go to the 105 champion, after Devin's cleared some stuff up in the super heavyweights, maybe cut down to 105. I commented it on Ray's recent live stream. I'm glad he kind of shouted me out. He kind of answered that question of, it wasn't even a question, it was a statement. If we see Matt Mask versus Devin Laird again at the 105, that will be the match of the decade. Like, you can talk about all these Levon matches and everything, but this match would be legendary. I want to see these guys, because they haven't fought in a long time, and I would love to see it. They have such history together. They're really good friends. I would love to see that match happen. All right, so next up, I think, would be, next up is Georgi Zarenov. Not Zarenov, sorry. I've got him in my head because I love him so much and I want him to have some more matches. Zarenov's got a chance at top 10 super heavyweight right hand. I think he does. But Georgi Svetkov versus Dave Chafee. I could not have been more wrong on this one. I thought Dave's style would be perfect against Georgi. And in a lot of ways it was. But Georgi, he showed up a step up this time. He showed up strong on Saturday, really strong. Stronger than I think we've ever seen him. He looked really good. He looked really strong, dominant. Really good against Dave. And Dave just didn't have enough side pressure to pin him. That's okay. And apparently, I had friends over, so I couldn't really hear his call out. But apparently people are saying he called out Gennady. Georgi wants to get up there in the rankings. He wants to climb. And nobody can fault him for that. He's incredible. He has a match with Gennady. I think he's going to get shut down. I think Gennady will beat him pretty bad. But anyway, next match, Devin Larratt versus Corey West. This is kind of what people expected. Not a dominant victory from Devin. He had to King's move. He had to get into some ugly positions, but he still beat Corey. Corey came ready. He came strong, but it's Devin. We went over this in the predictions. It's Devin Larratt. No matter who he's up against, unless it's Levon, you gotta say, like, it's Devin. He's just gonna win. Because, again, anytime I would bet against Devin, I guess I can tell this kind of story. I'm going to try to keep it quick because I don't want this to be as long as my predictions were. But the reason why I did this for King of the Table 12, when I heard that Devin was going to be pulling Leonidas, I predicted Leonidas on my own. I didn't make any videos or anything. I've only started a couple days ago, but at that time, I predicted that Devin would beat Leonidas. Now, the only reason why I thought that was because his previous match was at 105, 110 kilos against Chance Shaw. And he seemed he had a difficult time against Chance. He did. And Chance is good. You're going to learn from me. I'm going to make more videos. There are a couple arm wrestlers I don't like. Chance is pretty much at the top of that list. But I can't fault him. He's an incredibly strong guy. He's got a smooth top roll. Devin had a lot of trouble with him. And I knew that Devin was also aiming for 105 championship against Oleg Petrenko after he fought Leonidas. So I was thinking 105 match or 110. 105 title match. In between, Devin's going to be 105. 105 Devin versus Leonidas, I thought, this is Devin Larratt, but Leonidas is probably going to beat him. Probably. I think he's going to be too strong over that light of a Devin Larratt. And he showed up at 275 pounds. So I was thinking to myself, oh boy, did I get this wrong. And, yep, Devin destroyed Leonidas. Big time. So anytime I bet against Devin, I am always reminded, why on earth would you bet against Devin? This guy just wins. There is something about him, he just beats people. Pretty much no matter what. Really good. He wants to see where his left can go. He wants to fight Vitaly. He's got a lot of stuff on his hands. Devin is in really high demand right now. I would assume his next match on left hand would be against Tobias, which will be cool because I want to see how Devin's slow, meticulous style goes up against somebody who is all about speed and wild aggression, because that is Tobias. He is technical, but it is so difficult to contain somebody who, when he's going, is just shaking all over the place. Like, he is really good in that sense, and I want to see how Devin goes about containing him and containing his speed, because Tobias is super good. Really good. I think that'll be a good next match, but Devin also has his hands full against Vitaly. I want to see him fight Hermes again. Hermes wants to fight Devin again. Devin's kind of open to it. I think we'll see that match coming pretty soon, either within this year or early next year. That might actually be Hermes' next match, would be against Devin. That would be okay, because they both kind of have a whole... Hermes has got to fight Levon. Devin's got to fight Vitaly. So there's kind of a hole there afterwards where both of them are kind of without people to fight. So they're like, sure, why not? We should probably give them a match in that hole. Probably towards the end of 2025, towards the beginning of 2026. Next match, the main event. Possibly the goodbye match from John Brzenk. He did the best he could. Yoshi Kanai is an animal. I talked about this in my predictions. The weird thing about Kanai is that, here's the thing. When your arm swells during arm wrestling, what does it do? It limits your ability to open and close, to move in certain spots, because you're just too pumped up. You can't move very well. So what happens with Kanai, he can't fully extend his arm. So when it swells, I don't think you can see, but in this position, in a bent position, which does mean it's harder for Kanae to pull back towards him, but it's also more difficult for his arm to extend. So in many ways, as the match progresses with Yoshi Kanae, the harder he is to open up, which is insane. Like, you will never see anybody else who has that, where it's like the longer the match goes, the stronger they actually get. Gennady would be the only one people would draw that parallel with. It was a good main event. It had to happen. I kind of agree with Devin. John has been done before. This is probably not going to be his last match. Even if he pulls exhibition match. Who was the guy that they were thinking about? The American, I forget. But yeah, I would like to see him pull somebody else, even if it's not competing in East versus West, where he's fighting all these guys, trying to pull to the top of the 105 or wherever he's going. Like, just give him some matches. He is an arm wrestler at heart, and he needs to keep pulling. But that is up to him, and nobody is going to fault him for quitting, because he has had the best career you could ask for. So, for John Brzenk, we're all with you on this decision, whatever you choose. Love and support will always come your way. That's all I have to say for that. Getting excited for the next few events. Gonna wait for some more matches to post. Maybe I'll have some comments on that. I plan to make a lot more videos. Next video I plan to make might actually be on Oleg Petrenko. I've got some thoughts on him might want to make another series. Start a new series where I go over certain arm wrestlers and how I feel about them specifically. I've got some ideas for this channel. I'm excited. I hope this gets pushed out to more people. I hope people enjoyed the event. If you're watching, thank you for watching, and I'll see you guys later.